Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Stream Highlights. That's right, we are back in action. And this time, we're going to be doing it right. Nothing but pure, focused, unrelenting 3 hours worth of work. That's my goal every day for the rest of my life. No. So what are we going to be doing today, you ask? Haven't gone that far yet. I can tell you what I have been doing though. So you'll probably remember when Quaternions barged through the door. Okay, so I went and figured that out. So I was using Blender and I was trying to get animations going in Blender, but it kind of just was shitting the bed. At one point I was just, you know what? Blender can go suck a dick. In comes Houdini into the picture. Houdini Apprentice, non-commercial, because I don't really want to pay $300 for the actual license. But this is non-commercial, boys, okay? This is definitely non-commercial. This is, fuck, it's in a video. I'm gonna have to buy the license quite soon. But anyway, this is Big Ron. Everybody say hi to Big Ron. He's an absolute alpha male Chad who is completely goddamn jacked. Basically, he's just everything I aspire to be. And I've gone ahead and learned Houdini. I still don't really know what I'm doing. I followed a couple tutorials and got this. Right here, I'm using something called Kinefx, and it's a non-destructive workflow for the entire modeling and rigging process. So we start right here. This is Big Ron. Just ignore the fact that he's called Tommy, but he's got a bunch of fucking vertices in here, and obviously we don't need all these. We don't need this entire bulge, all the detail in the crevices of his ass. With cheeky little poly reduce here. That brings him down to that. So then that is the geometry. And then in here, this is the skeleton. And then we capture these bones. I don't actually really know what this does, but it's there and it was in the tutorial. So I was like, this is kind of the point where the bones get bound a bit to the vertices. I don't fucking know what I'm doing. But then there's weight painting down here. Come in here, we paint the weights. We've got the various bones and their weights. Then we're coming in here. We import the bones and all their various keyframes. So I'm basically taking the first frame of the animation that I did, which is just a rest pose, right? It's literally just a rest. There's nothing in this animation, but I'm taking the very first frame of it and trying to apply it. Basically what's happening is I'm doing that. It's obviously not at rest there. That's what we're going to be figuring out today, how to actually go about transforming this properly so that it doesn't shit the bed. And then beyond that, we can actually play back the entire animation and do all that kind of good stuff. And it's kind of a bit daunting to pick up from yesterday's work at a point in where you were just completely stuck. It really doesn't make it easy. But I ain't a little bitch, we're going to get it going. So we're going to do nothing but raw math up in this bitch, boys. Nothing but raw mathematical calculations. So this is our current transform, and we're translating by our current transform. And this position is relative to the bone's parent transform. So if we actually don't apply this transform at all, we get the rest pose of Big Ron, which is that. So the goal of this transformation, the global transform. So we've got the current relative to its parent. So then if we take its parent and then we times it by the current, that should give us the point at which we need to go. But the thing is, what does the parent transform look like? Like the parent transform is relative to its parent. So that's why I guess I multiply it all the way down. Oh, I think it would stop at the root here then, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get rid of all these guys. So the bone at the moment is the neck. And if we open up Houdini, what does Mr. Neck look like? If you look at him from the front, Mr. Neck is here. So that looks like it's about 1.5 from memory. So a translation of about 1.5. That's where Mr. Neck is. So let's take that bone info. We've got the transform here. The distance between here and here is, yeah, makes sense. It's about 3/4 of a grid. What about the spine? All the way down to the spine 1. I want to see what the spine 1 value is, because I'm sure the spine 1 value is going to be relative to the origin. Alrighty, so spine 4, we've got the W, X value is 0, Y value is 0.12 as well. These are all going to be 0.12 because I actually subdivided all of these and they look great. It's just this one is completely rotated for some reason. So that's interesting. I'm probably going to have to re-rig this. The root, what do we got? The root is 1, exactly 1. So that means the parent transform of the neck, once we multiply all of those out, should be 1.5. So let's find this out. Neck, drum roll please. 0.38, that's really not it. So there's our issue. And it's got something to do with the fact that I'm not even including the first transform, and I'm not even adding the last transform. So all it's adding right now is these three, which is about the length from the neck down to here. That's 0.38. So it's not including the spine one. So it's not including this, and it's not including this. And I know why, because the code just isn't written like that. So this is the very first transform that we get. So this is the neck. We do ignore the neck for a reason, because the neck transform is technically being pulled out of the keyframe. So we ignore the neck, but we still need to get the parent. So let's loop all the way down. Yeah, if parent index is greater than or equal to 0. So we're basically going to say when parent index is equal to -1. So that means it's going to be the root. So then we can also go if parent index is equal to -1, then it's the root. I want to do a for loop, but without the condition. I'm sure there's a cleaner way of doing that, but my brain ain't working. There we go, 1.38. And that's exactly what I want. That is exactly the number I'm after. It'll be right up to this value here, 1.38. Perfect. Then we're going to take the neck, and we're going to multiply that. And then that's going to give us our, I guess you could say, global transform. If we multiply the transform by that, M4, multiply M4, this should at least give us a consistent value. No. Maybe we switch these guys around. Maybe I'm doing my order wrong. So if we look in Houdini, and we literally just come from the front on, these are rotations. These are rotated. The only thing that isn't rotated is the spine. And if we remember back to like a day or so ago, the only thing that was being pushed all the way up was the spine, and everything else was fine. So I just have to reset the rotations on these, because this is the rest pose. This shouldn't be rotating at all. But for some reason, the bones are. How do I see this, these values? I want this transform. I want to reset this transform right here. Sometimes set out to accomplish a goal. Other times, you spend 2 hours and 17 minutes fucking around in Houdini trying to get a goddamn reset on the rotation transform, but not actually being able to find it because I just don't know how Houdini works. But I guess that's today done. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you tomorrow. We're doing the exact same thing. Bye-bye.